Have you ever wondered how average marks, cricket batting averages, and survey results are calculated? Well, today we are going to master mean, median, and mode in the easiest visual way possible. Welcome to this explainer. I am incredibly excited to have you here today, because this is honestly one of the most useful, high-scoring, and downright essential concepts in all of statistics. We are going to conquer it completely. Think about it. How does your school figure out your average marks at the end of the year? Or how are those official cricket batting averages measured when you're watching a match? What about those massive national survey results on the news? The secret to all of that lies in exactly what we're covering right now. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have the absolute confidence to tackle any dataset thrown your way. No problem at all. So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start by figuring out what central tendency actually means. Then, we're going to master the mean, find the median, and identify the mode. After that, we'll face a combined boss fight example featuring some tricky outliers, and finally, we'll wrap the whole thing up with some ultimate exam tricks. All right, level 1. What is central tendency?
Well, in simple terms, measures of central tendency help us find the center, or, the typical value of a dataset. Imagine a teacher staring at a giant spreadsheet of 500 student test scores. It's just a chaotic mountain of numbers, right? Central tendency lets us take that massive pile of data and summarize it into one clear, meaningful value. It literally tells us the story of the data at a single glance.
And hey, we aren't just learning this to pass board exams. This is the exact math used in the real world every single day. Schools use it for grades, sports analysts use it for player stats, businesses use it to track their profits, and yeah, even social media algorithms use it to figure out what content goes viral on your feed. When you learn this, you're basically learning the language of the modern world. How cool is that? Moving right along to level 2, mastering the mean. Now, the mean is probably the most common statistical measure you'll ever encounter. Simply put, it's just the overall average value of a dataset. If a teacher wants to gauge the overall performance of a class on a recent math test, they don't sit there and analyze every single paper individually. Instead, they calculate the mean. It gives every single score an equal voice in the final number. The formula for this is super straightforward. The mean equals the sum of all observations divided by the number of observations. You might also see it written as sigma x over n. Now, don't let that Greek letter intimidate you. That symbol, sigma, is literally just a fancy math way of saying add everything up. That's the whole shebang. Let's put this into practice with a really quick example. Suppose our dataset is 4, 8, 6, 5, and 3. Step 1. We add all those values together. 4 plus 8 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3 gives us a total of 26. Step 2, we count the total observations. We've got 5 numbers in total here. And step 3, divide. 26 divided by 5 equals 5.2. And there you have it. Our mean is 5.2. It really is that simple. Okay, level 3, finding the median, the middle value. Now, I gotta give you a bit of a strict warning here, okay? This concept requires a very specific setup. The median is defined as the exact middle value of a dataset, but notice the massive condition attached to that definition. It only works when the numbers are arranged in order. You absolutely must remember to arrange your numbers in ascending order first. If you just pick the middle number of a scrambled list, your answer's gonna be completely wrong. Always sort first. Depending on how many numbers you're dealing with, the median actually plays by 2 slightly different rules. If you have an odd number of observations, like say 5 or 7 numbers, it's super easy. There's one perfect middle number sitting right there in the center. But if you have an even number of observations, like 4 or 6 numbers, there isn't one single middle number, there are 2. In that case, you just find the average of those 2 middle numbers. Let's walk through this step by step with an odd dataset, using our numbers from before. 4, 8, 6, 5, 3. Step 1, we arrange them in ascending order. That gives us 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Much better. Step 2, we find the exact middle value. Since we have 5 numbers, we can just cross out 2 on the left, cross out 2 on the right, and what's left hanging out in the exact center? The number 5. Effortless, right? On to level 4, identifying the mode. The mode is honestly the absolute easiest measure to spot. It's simply the value that appears most frequently in a dataset. Think of it as the most popular kid in school. If a principal wants to know the most common, typical marks scored by the vast majority of the students, they don't actually look at the mean, they look for the mode. Let's check out this dataset. 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 4. Let's just count the repetitions. The number 2 appears twice, which is, pretty good. But look at the number 4. It appears 3 times. Since 4 shows up the most often, giving it the highest frequency, 4 is our definitive mode. See? No complex math required at all, just some sharp observation.
All right, things are heating up. Level 5, combined examples and outliers. The boss fight.
Imagine we've got a data set of small numbers, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then suddenly, bam, 100 drops in out of nowhere. In statistics, we call a number like this an outlier. It's an extreme value, and it acts exactly like a wildcard that completely disrupts our normal data. This extreme outlier perfectly illustrates exactly why we have different measures of central tendency in the first place. When 100 enters the chat, it artificially inflates the mean. Think about it. If 5 people in a room make $10 a day, and a billionaire suddenly walks in, the average wealth in that room suddenly makes everyone look rich. The mean gets totally distorted. That is exactly why companies looking at typical salaries often prefer to use the median, because the median just looks at the person right in the middle, totally ignoring that extreme outlier at the very end. Okay, let's take on the boss fight. We're going to extract the mean, median, and mode from the exact same data set to see how they compare. Our data is 2, 4, 4, 5, 7, and 8. First up, the mean. We add them all up to get 30, divide by our 6 observations, and get a mean of 5. Next, the median. Thankfully, the data is already arranged for us. Since there are 6 numbers, an even amount, we take the 2 middle numbers, 4 and 5, and average them out to get 4.5. Finally, the mode. The number 4 appears twice, while everything else just appears once, so the mode is 4. And look at that. We extracted all 3 measures without breaking a single sweat. You totally nailed it. Finally, level 6, exam tricks and formulas. Time for the cheat codes. So the absolute crucial point here is avoiding the traps that cost students marks every single year. Let me just rapidly fire off the most common mistakes I see. Mistake number 1, not arranging data before finding the median. I seriously cannot warn you enough about this. Always arrange first. Mistake 2, forgetting to actually divide by the total number of observations when calculating the mean. Mistake 3, picking the highest number instead of the highest frequency for the mode. And of course, basic calculation errors or mixing up the definition of mean and median. Remember, mean is average, median is middle. But let's flip those mistakes into top-tier exam tricks, shall we? For large data sets, build a clean table. It basically guarantees you won't make calculation errors. When you're trying to find the mode, literally take your pencil and circle the repeated values right on your question paper so they visually pop out at you. Always count your observations carefully, and above all, properly arrange your numbers before finding that median. You now possess the tools to conquer absolutely any dataset. But I want to leave you with a final, provocative question to ponder. Next time you see a statistic on the news claiming the average of something, are you going to ask them if they use the mean or the median? Because as you now know, that makes all the difference in the world. If this explainer helped you understand mean, median, and mode easily, then like the explainer, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Let's make math simple and fun together. Catch you next time.